The stunning arrest of former high-level aide to two New York governors, Andrew Cuomo and Kathy Hochul. That aide accused of spying for China. She and her husband now under arrest tonight. Linda's son accused of acting as an undisclosed agent, meeting with officials from the Chinese Communist Party.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering.
America.
Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. You're watching the walk of shame out of federal court in New York of Linda's son, the former Deputy Chief of Staff of New York Governor Kathy Hochul, and her husband, Christopher Hugh, both of whom were federally indicted for espionage charges with connections to the Chinese Communist Party. Very serious show, folks, and we're going to go into the indictment and also some of the duck and cover going on by Democrats in the People's Republic of New York. But before we get to all that, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the shows. And if you like what you're seeing here in this or any other video on the channel, I'm going to ask you guys to smash that thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that really, really good stuff, because all that's going to help promote the show via the YouTube algorithm.
Feed it.
As always, gang, thank you guys so much for supporting the show, whether it be helping us spread the show through the algorithm or whether it's picking up some merch. For today's show, what else could it be other than our People's Republic of New York City shirt, some communist iconography, and a phrase that we've used for about a decade now, whether it be on podcasts, on terrestrial radio, or on this show right here. It's never been more appropriate, especially when it comes to this story. You can check it out at shop.buffoonoftheweek.com or under the store tab right here on YouTube.
This guy is a grifter.
We're going to get into this story right now, but the most important thing I want you to focus on as we go through the news of this indictment is the duck and cover by New York Democrats who want to be nowhere near what's going on with this story.
Tonight, a former aide to two New York governors has been arrested and charged with spying for China. Authorities searching the Long Island home of Linda's son and her husband, Chris Hu. Federal prosecutors say the couple received millions in kickbacks from China and laundered the monetary proceeds to buy the mansion in Manhasset, New York for $3.5 million, a condominium in Honolulu, Hawaii for nearly $2 million, and various luxury automobiles, including a Ferrari.
On a government salary?
Okay, so listen, I may not be the most observant fellow. I don't have any background in criminal investigation. But if I'm in law enforcement and I see a deputy chief of staff to the governor, probably makes a good salary. I would say six-figure salary. But they have a multi-million-dollar home on Long Island in Manhasset. By the way, for those of you who don't know the People's Republic of New York, Manhasset on Long Island, pretty ritzy area. A lot of big homes there. They also have a vacation home worth multiples of millions and luxury vehicles, including a brand new Ferrari. I don't know. Maybe I should set off a few alarm bells. Like, where the hell are you getting all this on your salary, ma'am? Can you maybe tell us what the hell is going on here? Linda's son was getting kickbacks from China, allegedly, according to the indictment. Her husband and her laundered that money through real estate and other luxury items, and no one in government batted an eye until recently. By the way, Linda's son has been in state government for nearly a decade. This goes back a lot further than you think, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. She didn't get to be deputy chief of staff of the governor without getting promoted through the ranks here. And as we all know, there hasn't been a Republican governor in the People's Republic of New York since George Pataki in the 90s. This has been a legacy of Democrat management in the executive house. Linda's son infiltrated these Democrats, moved up the chain, and gained influence for the CCP in New York State government. This is freaking scary. This is the stuff out of spy novels.
Son worked for former Governor Andrew Cuomo and his successor, Governor Kathy Hochul, for more than a decade and never disclosed any benefits she received.
Now, how is that possible? City-state employees, they have to go through conflict of interest checks. They have to disclose different things that we normally don't disclose in our private sector jobs. How in the hell do you hide millions upon millions of dollars in kickbacks over God knows how long? and not disclose it and get away with it. I want to know who was asleep at the wheel in the halls of state government that allowed this to happen.
Instead, prosecutors say she acted as an undisclosed agent of China, allegedly blocking representatives of the Taiwanese government from having access to the New York State governor's office and changing the governor's messaging regarding issues of importance to the Chinese.
This is incredible!
Not so incredible as what happened next.
Okay, so this person rose to the level of influence that she was able to change, edit, revise, I don't know how, but change the message of the duly elected governor of the state of New York. How the hell does that happen? How does that go unchecked? This is usurpation of our representative democracy here in the People's Republic of New York. Man, when I said this name over a decade ago and I started using it as a turn of phrase to describe New York, sometimes lovingly, sometimes with disdain, I didn't think that people would take it as a challenge to actually meet the goal of that reputation.
Sun traveled to China, as seen in this photo included in the indictment, where prosecutors say she met with officials from the Chinese Communist Party. She and her family also allegedly received gifts from China, including tickets to shows, concerts, and events, as well as salted ducks prepared by a Chinese government official's personal chef.
Is that what we ate?
Okay, maybe that's not a thing that you think is any value, but I'm sure this is a cultural thing, and it certainly does. What strikes me in that part of the indictment, a communist official who's supposed to believe in collectivism, in, the power of the proletariat and all that stuff that we hear, that believes in socialism, that we think is so great, all you young people, right? This head of this communist party has a personal chef? Certainly sounds like one of those millionaires and billionaires out there, doesn't it? I want you guys to ponder that. A communist with a personal chef.
That's an oxymoron.
Sun is a naturalized U.S. citizen who was born in China and rose to become Hochul's deputy chief of staff. Late today, Hochul responding.
I'm furious and I'm outraged and absolutely shocked at how brazen her behavior was. It was a betrayal of trust, the trust of government, the trust of the people. And I'll tell you this, the second we discovered some levels of misconduct, we fired her.
And a representative for former Governor Cuomo saying that while he was in office, Sun had little to no interaction with the governor.
You expect me to believe that?
Of course, Hochul and Cuomo all distancing themselves from the situation. Hochul was outraged at this brazen activity. So brazen that it went unchecked for years and nobody picked up on it. Eventually, apparently, Hochul did pick up on it and fire her and report her to the authorities. But I want to focus in on Andrew Cuomo for a moment. Andrew Cuomo put out a statement and said that he had little to no interaction with Linda's son. I'm going to call BS on that, and after the break, I'm going to bring some receipts from the indictment itself, as well as some throwbacks to Cuomo's daily press conferences during the pandemic. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. In searching for more information that I can talk to you about concerning this indictment, especially information concerning the relationship between Linda's son and governors like Andrew Cuomo and Kathy Hochul, I found this clip from Fox 5 in the People's Republic of New York City.
Does this indictment list any examples of how Sun allegedly used her influence when it came to messaging from the governor's office?
So they do have numerous examples, and one of the examples that I caught on to when reading the indictment was prosecutors say that Sun used the Chinese government to get ventilators over to New York State during the COVID-19 pandemic, and she promised them that Cuomo would call them. And when Cuomo never called them, the Chinese officials allegedly got upset with her, and so she said then that they would thank him, that Cuomo would thank them publicly, and he then issued a tweet, which we have as well, and they said that he thanked the Chinese government for their assistance in sending over these ventilators during the COVID-19 pandemic. There's also a picture of Governor Hochul Hochul in taking a picture with some Chinese officials. So there were numerous examples of how she used her position allegedly to influence the governor's office with how they messaged towards the Chinese government.
Now that's pretty interesting. Let's see if we can find that part of the indictment concerning Andrew Cuomo. So here we are on page 17 of the indictment, and I think I found the section that news report from Fox 5 and the People's Republic of New York City was referencing. Paragraph 28. On or about April 3rd, 2020, PRC Official 1, PRC of course being People's Republic of China, wrote to the defendant Linda Sun that several Chinese foundations would donate 1,000 ventilators to the Greater New York Hospital Association. Sounds pretty generous, right? Sun informed PRC Official 1 that Politician 1, who I can only assume at this point is former Governor Andrew Cuomo, would call PRC Official 1 to thank PRC Official 1. After waiting 2 hours for the call, PRC Official 1 complained that he had not yet heard from Politician 1. Shame on you, Andrew. How dare you not answer your masters in the Chinese Communist Party? Sun indicated that Politician 1, Cuomo again, was in a meeting with the Commissioner for the Department of Health and apologized for wasting PRC Official 1's time. Yes, this is the state government kowtowing to the Chinese government. And Andrew Cuomo didn't know this was happening. Now remember, Cuomo said he had little to no interaction with Linda Sun. I'm calling him bullshit on that right now. Sun further indicated that Politician 1, Cuomo, would call the following day. PRC Official 1 instructed Sun to remind Politician 1 to thank the PRC government for facilitating the donation. So the Chinese government is directing Cuomo through their own intermediary that has infiltrated the New York State government that he should thank the Chinese Communist Party.
Dance for the puppet master.
On April 4, 2020, Politician 1 publicly thanked PRC Official 1, both in public remarks and in a post on Twitter, for helping arrange the donation, which was scheduled to arrive at JFK Airport in Queens, New York, that day. Believe it or not, I actually found that public thank you in one of Andrew Cuomo's famous daily COVID updates.
Flashback. So New York has been shopping in China. We're not really China experts here. International relations is not what we do on a daily basis. I've been to China before. When I was HUD Secretary, I did a trade mission with China, so I have a basic understanding, but we went to the Asia Society to help us navigate China. I asked the White House to help us navigate China. I spoke to the ambassador, and we got really good news today that the Chinese government is going to facilitate a donation of 1,000 ventilators that will come into JFK today. And I want to thank Joe Tsai and Clara Tsai and Jack Ma from Alibaba and the Nets, but I'm not stating a preference, for their donation. That's going to be very helpful, and I want to thank Ambassador Wang very much for his help in making all of this happen, because this is a big deal, and it's going to make a significant difference for us.
And oh, by the way, here's the tweet that followed this daily COVID update, where Andrew Cuomo publicly thanked the PRC officials just as Linda Sun instructed him to.
End of flashback.
Continuing in the indictment on page 17 at paragraph 29 now, on or about April 4, 2020, the same day of that daily COVID conference that you just saw in the previous clip, Company One owner wrote the defendant Linda Sun the following message, quote, "See if you can get Company One name out there." Now, you heard in that clip, Andrew Cuomo mentioned the company Alibaba. Is that Company One? I would think so given the circumstantial evidence, but I can't say for sure. Later that day, Sun asked PRC Official 1 to promote Company 1, which had provided the logistics arrangement for the donation of the ventilators. So Company 1, which I think is Alibaba, provided logistics in delivering these 1,000 ventilators. Notably, Company 1 ultimately billed New York State more than $700,000 for providing the logistics services during spring and summer of 2020, which included these ventilators. So Company 1, a Chinese company, I presume, made bank off the People's Republic of New York thanks to, allegedly, Linda's son.
Your tax dollars at work.
PRC official agreed and asked Sun to take photographs when the goods were delivered to various hospitals. The following day, now we're talking April 5th, 2020, Sun thanked PRC official 1 for complimenting Sun's work to politician 1, which Sun stated would empower her to do more for the PRC.
You were beautiful, Olaf.
Are you beautiful, Dick?
No, you were beautiful, Terry.
To the Mutual Aid Society.
PRC official 1 responded that he was compelled to compliment Sun's work, which he characterized as phenomenal. The Chinese government played Andrew Cuomo like a goddamn fiddle, and he thanked them for it. I hope all of you out there are as astonished as I am about the way the Chinese government entrenched itself within the People's Republic of New York. It's amazing, isn't it? Which leads me to question, what is it about Democrats in power that makes them targets for the Chinese government, for the Chinese Communist Party? We all talk about Eric Swalwell in California and his dalliance with Fang Fang all the time, right? Now we can add Andrew Cuomo and Kathy Hochul to the list. So what is it about Democrats that allow them to be so easily enamored with these spies from China?
I need an answer now!
All right. Here, you want an answer? The answer is...
I think there's a generalized movement, thanks to many different leftists and progressives out there who admire the Chinese Communist Party, in directing the Democratic Party away from the center and lurching it to the left, moving the mainstream of Democratic thought further to the left, and allowing it to be easier for spies like Linda Sun, allegedly, to get into state government, thanks to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and all that is embraced by Democrats, and then allow them to sink their claws into these officials who think they're doing great work, but are in fact doing the work of our enemies. It's scary when you think about it. And as we get closer to this election, this presidential election, this hopefully gives people out there some food for thought about who may be the next spy uncovered in the halls of government, and how it will more than likely be another Democrat that is ensnared in their grasp. But listen, that's just my opinion about this whole situation. I want to know what you guys think. Let's get into the comments together. And as always, like and share the show with your friends, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the shows. To me, this is time for a lively discussion, an earnest discussion, not only about the movement to the left of the Democrats, but also whether or not that movement is controlled by outside forces or invites outside forces to come in. Let's get into the comments together and talk about this, as well as all the other shenanigans and buffoonery happening every day this week in Dumbmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.